Jackson Radio Show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Kevin Jackson, it's Kevin Jackson Show. Tariffs. President Trump signed a measure earlier this week, and he imposed tariffs on imported solar energy components and large washing machines because the U.S. manufacturers are getting hammered. So he's got tariffs on these things, and people are like, they're mad. Now, this is what I want to talk about with this. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Should we impose? I don't know. I'm going to be blunt. I do not know. I haven't researched this enough. I look at it as President Trump knows what he wants to do on trade. So I need to trust him on it. But I'll look more into it later on because, there's got to be a response on somebody else. Now, he might be saying to the nations that are shipping all this stuff over, like Japan, where we've got a big trade deficit, look, you can't be doing this. China, we've got a big trade deficit. You're flooding our markets. You're crushing us as you're able to build your markets and expand those markets, and we can't invest in them. So, with that in mind, we're going to do that locally. I always wondered, how is it you can ship something the size of a washing machine or a solar panel, and you do it cheaper than it could be made in what we call near shore or onshore? I've often wondered that. Because theoretically, you shouldn't. Even with super low labor cost, you can only ship so much product before. I mean, it costs a lot of money. It's not air that powers these ships; it's fuel. Maybe if you had one of these nuclear ships, then something you could do it. But then the ships, I don't know how often they get caught up, sink in the ocean or whatever. So you might have issues with that. But I'm just saying. In theory, something that's that big and bulky and heavy, you would think you'd want to make it right near your marketplace. That seems what everybody else is starting to do. But we haven't done that. Solar panels. Think about when Barack Obama let Solyndra go under, Inter One and some others. A bunch of solar companies went underneath as he was subsidizing all these guys. Those industries couldn't compete with money getting back in their pockets. So Donald Trump says, I've looked at these two industries, solar panels and washing machines. I don't know why. And in order for us to be competitive, we're going to raise the tariffs on these items, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good. Now, in defense of these items, here's what I'll tell you about washing machine technology and dryers. Have you seen them? Remember the old days, they looked like boxes, just two big boxes sitting side by side. There's been lots of ingenuity. There's now multiple choices and, all the different settings you can do on them, all the different liquids you can put in. You got some that have built-in, little pre-cleansers and all this. You can, I saw the other day, a folding machine. It'll fold your clothes. I know. Slap my buns and call me butter. Or slap my bun, butter my buns and call me whatever. So you get it. Do something with my buns. So here's a folding machine. I find that fascinating. But so Trump's got a 30% tariff on most imported solar modules, with the rate declining before it phases out after 4 years. For large residential washing machines, tariffs will start at up to 50% and phase out over 3 years. So here's what's cool about that. Donald Trump's a pragmatist. He says, all right, so here's the deal. You got 5 years in solar to get your act together, manufacturers. If you want to be in this business, I just gave you a 30% raise, theoretically. Now, they can't eat it all up because that's what it's going to take to be competitive. But I now have put you on equal on the playing field. Washing machine manufacturers, you got an even bigger advantage. But you only got 3 years to do it. You better innovate. You better get some stuff moving. And then in the other one, you got 5 years. 5 years to innovate. Then at that point, it's all even. And what that does is it says to the marketplace, look, we're not being predatory. We're not trying to make you, bend to our will. We're giving a timeline to our guys to catch up and do some good. If a country did that to us because we were dominating in some area, fine. You know why we can get away with it more than most? Because we're our own biggest consumer. So if a washing machine company says, the only place I'm going to do business is in America. I don't even care if I do business in China. There's plenty here. There's plenty of business. Would you like to be part of a $1.5 billion market? Sure you would. But they can't all buy. Most of those people are poor. They can't even buy your stuff. So they say the U.S. solar energy industry is split over the issue. Two small subsidiaries of foreign companies that made solar cells in the U.S. favor the tariffs. But a large number of companies that install solar-powered systems say their costs will rise and jobs will be lost. Well, that's a part of it. If you're in the service aspect of something, that's a lie. Here's what they want you to believe. If they install these power systems, they're going to lose their jobs because now the price has gone up. That's not true. It's not false either. It's a little bit misleading because what it's going to do is it's telling the marketplace, we're giving Americans a chance to drop the pricing. You can still go out and get the product. Now, one can argue, well, people aren't going to buy it if it costs, in this case of solar panels, 30% more. But Donald Trump's not saying it's going to charge you 30% more. He's saying for the people who are bringing it over, it's 30% more. The people who are now here can probably drop their prices. You follow? So it's not saying that the price is going to go up, but these people, we're going to lose our jobs. Well, you might lose a few jobs. Or you might not. But what you're going to do is you're going to have a more competitive industry. But if you're on the service side, we're going to get hit because, now the price is going to temporarily stay flat or go up or whatever. Okay. All right. If you want me to concede the point, fine. But in the end, we're going to get our industry back. We can make the product here. And what it also means is our guys can start to do what we do best as Americans. We can start to innovate. That's where we have the advantage over every nation in the world, maybe with the exception of the Israelis, the Jews. But outside of that, nobody can really compete with us when we decide we're going to, refine the technology or do something else. Like I said, I saw a story years ago about a kid at MIT, a high school kid who did an MIT competition, and he revolutionized a solar cell. And I've heard since then there's been another quantum leap in solar cell technology that makes you able to hold that energy longer, and so it dissipates slower, and all kinds of cool things. Now, again, I'm out of engineering, so I haven't really studied it to the degree that I should. Maybe I will. But it's all improving. So maybe we do more. Maybe we come up with the next generation solar cell that outsells everybody. Who knows? But that's what American ingenuity does, and that's what Donald Trump just brought back. We'll be back.
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.